it's your first time here today, what we're going to discuss today, and I tried to make it as simplistic as possible in my live. I'm trying to do something a lot more in-depth with my imagery. So when you come into the live, it's not just some random image. It's actually appropriate to not just the live, but what we're seeing overall in a pattern setup and within the micro, what we're dealing with a possible short trade, not in the sense of like short trading the market, but what can line up here, what support structures in the immediate and then the longer term we have to pay attention to. And it's almost like we become the conductors of the market. I put myself on there and I'll share a little bit more about what I did as soon as, everybody who wants to be here is here. And we'll go over some pretty cool stuff this evening in regards to the market and just overall our perspective of crypto and why we should all be so appreciative to survive these tough times. Bright Future Freedom, Dan Marginal, Mr. and Mrs. Stott, thanks for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Let's see. The Cannabis Podcast, welcome, and thanks for being a very trusted mod and in Times Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad Crypto Cruder over 1 year and a very trusted mod as well. Thank you both. GF Mezzo, welcome in. Not So Sauce or Noob Sauce, I'm sorry, Noob Sauce. It's blurred in with this. Thanks for being in Times Army 3+ months. Trading with J-Ride over 3 years or 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. Unbelievable support there. Unbelievable support. We've got some unbelievable supporters in this community. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Let's see. Alex Carbonelli, Mark Caston, thanks for being in Towns Army for over 2 years with the XP589 Moon Badge. Alex Carbonelli, welcome in. William Hayes, thanks for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. CJ2 Pilot, over 2 years with the XP589 Moon Badge. Yes, back again, my friend. Back again. I got to talk about HBAR because that position's closed. I misrepresented it earlier. And when I went back and charted it, I'm like, wait a minute. I never updated the overall pattern. And it gave me a support resistance line. So I actually did sell it. When it came back up here, fortunately, not up to 9.1. But it came back up close enough earlier after I set this up to where I was like, it already tapped it. So that moved back up to right around 9 cents that it took. Is when I cashed out on that last move up. And I want to see what it does from here. And then if it breaks this little area, if it breaks this area at 9.1 and holds it on a back test, I'll reopen the position. But when I redid it, I'm like, wait a minute. I missed the sell point. So then I had to wait for it to go back down to 8909 and watch it go back up. And fortunately, for a brief second there in that last couple of 45-minute candles, it went back up to 9 cents. And I said, that's close enough for me. So that H-bar is closed right now. So I just wanted to make sure I talked about that. And then I want to share this just to make sure, in case it didn't go through anybody's algorithm, it takes me just about 10 seconds to do this. And I just create a post that says live just started. But I think today's a very, very, very incredibly important. Whoops, I don't want to delete it. Incredibly important live today, and I'll tell you why. Live started. And I do that for the members of the community as well, not paid members, just whoever subscribed. Okay, so now hopefully that went out, but it's an incredibly important day for the charts right now because guess what? It is April Fool's Day. And you know what happened? Iran came out and said, we didn't come to any kind of ceasefire with the USA. I don't know what Trump's talking about is basically what they said, but we're not agreeing to no ceasefire. So there's a lot of K-fob going on here. And there's a lot of stuff. I wouldn't trust anything you're reading today. I tell everybody today's my least favorite day of doing the show because it's April Fool's. But I'll share you a story of perseverance within the crypto community and why we should be so thankful where we're at and why you should be so thankful you ran into this station when you did across my journey in the last 5 years. I'm just not even going to sugarcoat it. Good evening. 7:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. And I reside in the great state of Michigan. Oh, I'm so thrilled right now with what these little short swing trades can do. Not shorting the market, but just these little temporary pattern discoveries and then trading the support to resistance. It's changed just the way that I do things in the short narrative. And then I don't have to worry about the over the top. And then I wait for the breakout back test if I want to re-enter something like this, especially in a bear market. But for anybody who did it with XDC, it depended on where you bought, anywhere from 5.5% to 8% roughly. Or no, 4.5% to 8%, just depending on where you did it. I ended up getting about almost 6, 5.5% to 6. And this one from the bottom and back to the top was about 9.5%. I did not get 9.5%. Oh, wait a minute. That's too far over. I was going to say I did not get anywhere near 9.5%. But it did go up about 8.7. I got about 6.2. So I was really happy about that. So it's compounding. It's compounding. So now I want to see what ends up happening here. I want to see what happens here because there's a lot of fugazis going on today. And I hate April Fool's Day because there's a lot of influencers that take advantage. But put it this way. Since I started my channel, 95%, I ran some analytics. 95% of crypto channels went away. That started when I did. Out of those 5%, we're in the 0.1% when I ran my analytics through the system. Not because of views, because of what we do. It's something that I can't even explain. But in a niche world where a lot of the hype channels are fading, what's starting to happen is we're starting to create, and we've been creating a community that regardless of what happens in the crypto market, we've come together strong. We've gotten through the barest of bear markets. And what you've gotten out of me was a level of loyalty that's unfounded in the space, which when I put it through the figures, it's completely unfounded. And my channel's a straight up anomaly. So now we've created a community that can do something different. You know, we created a community that no matter what, even in the barest of markets, we have the same level heads. And then we add a few along the way that can watch this in the bear market. And we've become not only a family, but we've become a straight up a community that people that have millions of subscribers would aspire to have. We have more loyal viewers and more dedicated viewers and helpful people in here than channels that have millions of viewers. You know, I went over 8 million views on YouTube this month. At some point, I didn't even realize it. And just, we're outperforming channels as far as like just the way our community is. And there's just a whole bunch of things that I could tell you within numbers that other channels rely on that we don't rely on here. It's just, there's so much stuff that we don't do here that we don't need to, but it made us closer. And like what we see in the charts, we're not a niche community. We're not hopium. We actually look at the real-time data to go through the technicals. So for that, I thank everybody for allowing me to do this the way I want to, the way I desire to. And like just on the imagery, so we can talk about what we're going into, I shared this. We have a long-term descending wedge, a long-term cup and handle as well. It shows me as the conductor. But the long-term technical targets remain on here. It shows it on the bottom left at $6.51. We've got the current price at $1.35, and this is the macro structure, cup and handle within descending wedge. The micro opportunity in the short term, unlikely to invalidate macro target until full bottoming and pattern completion. It shows the imbalance zone $1.38 to $1.44, and that would be target one if we can push past that $1.36 area. We have a supply zone that would be target two around $1.48. We have a likely, that would be a short-term gainer. And then there's a disclaimer and warning. Warning, short-term opportunity within larger bearish or bottoming pattern are high risk. High risk, the long-term structure persists. And this is not financial advice, but that's the truth. So like I tried to put that in the title so that everybody could see exactly what was going on. And so that there's no questions coming in. So when we look at what we're looking at with the charts, and I understand my algorithm is going to be shot today, and I don't even care. It's about the quality of views, not the quantity. It's about the quality of views. You guys give me the highest quality of views known to man because you actually want to be here and want to know what's going on. You care about the technical side. That's such a rarity for what we do because most people want the hype. We don't. We want the truth. You guys have come here for the truth, and I try my damnedest to give you it. So why is it important to understand the imbalance zone and the supply zone before it gets there? You know, and we've been talking about this since before yesterday's daily. It was going into last weekend. And then even on Sunday, we reached a low here. And the reason why this is important is because before it makes these liquidity sweeps, so when you get into an imbalance zone, it's just a liquidity sweep, especially over the top. That becomes a bearish confirmation zone if, in fact, it rejects in that imbalance. You get above that, and there is a supply zone that could also be a bearish rejection zone as well. And I highly doubt it's going to get into there, but if it does, we need to know it's there. But knowing that before it happens, so basically how it works in the hierarchy, the institutions and the market makers are all over this by the design of the central banks. So they're waiting for that imbalance zone because there's going to be inherently, because of how it's set up, there's a lot of long traders that are looking with, let's just say, if they're long, they're looking for sell points, but better yet, for anybody who's short, you get into that zone, a lot of people are going to get liquidated. And a lot of people are going to start buying simultaneously in retail, which allows the institutions to get out and re-go. They only do it in percentage moves. So they wait for the imbalance and supply zones to get out. And then it ends up falling straight on its face. But retail, that's retail's job. So retail is there so that they can shift the fund. So this is how they shift money. Right now, until this breaks, I'm gonna be 100% frank with you. You don't even need to guess because it showed you a double top. You know, unless that breaks, and that's why this HTF supply is so important. Unless that ceases to exist, this pattern is extremely bearish. Even if it gets over that, it's still got work to do, but that could start reversing the descending triangle on the all-time head and shoulders. Just by coincidence, that mark on the top is at $1.6222. 222. So extremely important level. So I don't expect that to happen before we go down to lower lows, but you never know. But it's extremely important to understand the liquidity sweep areas before they happen. Do you know if you start trading once it gets into the imbalance zone, which is where the liquidity starts, that only 25% of traders will have success in retail? 1 in 4 will have a successful trade if you wait for it to get to that area. Because inherently what ends up happening is it gets into there, and that's where it becomes a big sell wall. And that's something that would happen. Now, for the moment, you know, there's a lot of setups here where I can see this, where it could it could shoot up. And I don't know if we're going to do an algo, but if it did end up doing something, and we want to wait for this candle to close to see how it closes. I mean, you're talking about, you could have a 10% candle spike very quickly, just like with algo, just at a smaller level. With HBAR, we could have a, 20 something percent if it does it properly. But at the same time, if this is all fugazi and they just pulled a fast one over our eyes for one day, this could reverse and then pull itself down. As of right now, what I'm looking for XRP is a close over $1.35 minimum, $1.35. And then but we're not going to get up there, but $1.35 to confirm that this could be a little bit of pressure to the top side. We closing above here very easily. I would say this is mostly an inverted hammer. There's barely any downside wick. That just happens on people that want to get out. As of right now, though, that's our guiding light right now. Let's see if we can close that $1.35 area, which we're struggling right now. I wanted, just like HBAR, struggling ever since it hit that 9 cent again. And it just did that recently in this candle when it came back up, and I'm like, I got to get out. I missed my sell wall. When I redid this, and I'm like, what are you looking at, Tom? It's got it up here already. You got resistance 1, and it's got a structural resistance in the 4-hourly resistance. Like, what were you looking at? So when it came up here, I still got it up here from the farther back version, you know, from when it was coming back here to where it made it look like it was almost at 10 cents. And then when I looked, I'm like, oh my God, I just gave back $600 almost, or $500. And then it was at 8909 or what, 8912 it went down to. And I just sat there and I go, oh my God. Let's see what happens if we can get the 50% retracement. And that's exactly what happened. We got a 50% retracement from the swing high to the swing low it put in. Actually, it went more like 70% possibly. So then I sold it. And now I said I can sit here free and clear, and at ease. Holy crap, it's at 884 now. What happened? It's fallen off the map. Even when I came on just now, it was at 89 something. I thought it already fell off that much. Holy, I'm glad I did what I did. But yeah, when I came on, it started dropping, as a matter of fact. Look at that at the end of this candle, because it was at 89 something when I started this live, and now look at it. Yeah, that makes sense. And that's why you got to understand the support resistance. That's why I started out like that, to say I'm an idiot, basically, when I first started this live, and said, first things first, I did sell out of my HBAR because it hit the resistance, and I just didn't update it. That's why you got to stay on top of the charts. So I did not know it was at 8847 now. That is crazy how fast that dropped. So now we have to see how it sets up. So same thing across the board. Yeah, I would love if you give the likes. And I have a new perspective now. I know that since 2021, the viewership's down across the board in crypto. Like everybody, what ends up happening right now is the hype fades. So the hype channels, we can get rid of most of them. And I don't care. I've never desired millions of views. I desire the right views. So I believe that every one of you are equal to 10 viewers. Every one of you is equal to 10 hype views. So you're worth the weight of 10 hype views. So if you want to go by your weight, we would have 666 hype viewers watching this live for fake hype. I believe all of you are equivalent to 10 times your weight. So, and I thank you all for that, because you've become high value viewers for me. You become high value targets. You're the ones I targeted from the beginning because you actually want to know what's happening. Oh no, it's more than 10, but I'm just saying, in a scale from 1 to 10, a hype viewer is worth 1 and you're worth 10. You're the perfect 10. I mean, I would dare say you're worth 50 of each hype viewer. Just like this hype channel is worth 10 times more than a hype channel is. This is a factual. I would like to think that we're like a channel of not only dominance, but we have order. But yeah, I think you get what I mean. So that I can't even express how thankful I am for what we've built here in 5 years. And I know it's a part of what we do, because I've been here every single day for 5 years. So you're looking for the honest to God truth. You started to trust and believe in what I do in the technicals, and you're seeing a strategy every single day when I've talked about this compounding gain. And it's like this week alone, and I'm not flexing, the Kraken account's gone from 24 to 27,000 just this week. And that's on an XDC trade of 5.5%, 6%. And then because it compounded, I used that same money and waited for that HBAR trade to pan out. And now because of that, 6.5%, 7% or whatever, I think it was like 6.5%. I didn't get the 9, not even close, because I'm an idiot. Not an idiot, but I misrepresented my own pattern. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm doing it from the too long macro. This needs to be from the extreme micro when it got into this support resistance. Fortunately, the support didn't change. It was just the resistance was tighter. And you got to understand the tighter resistance there, because otherwise you're waiting for something that's a fallacy. So it's just the simple compounding of the stuff. And I've been trying this. I haven't taken out leverage this week. It's all spot. There's a link for BitUnix in the video description below under pinned comments of this very live. If you want to join BitUnix and leverage trade, that's my preferred choice. I've been using them since 24 and I haven't had an issue. I stopped using them for about 6 months until I realized what I could do legally and how I could ascertain what I need to pay in taxes, because that was my biggest worry. I want to pay the taxes. So I decided that every time I make gains, it has to be as income, and then I send it and have a blueprint sent to a tier 1 exchange, and then I pay the taxes via added income. Yes, it's a pain. No, nobody wants to do it, but it's the right thing to do, even if we're getting screwed, because we're not supposed to have an income tax and tariffs at the same time. It's in our Constitution, but you know what? We're the pawns in a much larger game, and if we want to do this right, we're going to have to pay our taxes. Be thankful you have taxes to pay because of what we're making in capital gains. That's the part everybody misses. So, That's that's the part that I think we can now do a little bit clearer. But I wouldn't advise, after you make money, take it off and do things like that. Because on a tier one exchange, you at least have a KYC. On BitUnix, you have no KYC, so no one knows who you are. So even if you lose it, but the good news is they have great customer service, and I've only had one issue, and it was my own fault because I didn't know how to do something, and they were so freaking quick responsive. But anyhow, um, it's a nice thing. So, I would just be cautious right now. That move we had, I would be cautious. Look, that looks like in the short term a head topping reverse, a double top. Like that's not an M topping reverse, it's a Batman. Boom, boom. Now, oftentimes they might not like the even hit, so they go over just a little bit. That's technical because a lot of people would have had, buy orders over the top because they said, well, once it reaches over $1.36.6, I'm going to have it fill my order. Then they bring it to $1.36.8, get those retail traders trapped, and before they know it, they haven't even got out of work yet. And now they're down, almost 2%. So, and if you want to know more about all this, starting on Thursdays, we have technical Thursdays starting this week in the live classes where we teach a specific chart pattern every single week. It starts this week. I added a third day of classes, and it's only the technical side of town. So we're going to be on Thursdays in the live tomorrow, 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's a building archive with finished 18th class today. And we're going to be doing technical. So I will pick probably the pattern we're in right now or on some chart, and we're going to go over it through the classroom on Zoom. And then we're going to go to live charting every single Thursday so we can see it, we can understand it, we can dissect it, we can understand how they trap people, why they trap people, what the motive is behind these patterns. So, that's what we're looking at. And right now, I would be a little nervous if I was somebody right now in a leverage long because we put in a clear double top. And yeah, we have a golden cross, but the 30-minute is such a short time frame. Have we had volume to confirm it? No, we haven't. And now if this inverse pattern must hold, if it breaks this at $1.3428, it's going to be some problems. It's going to come back here and try to back test this again. And I just don't know how much strength there is. I feel like this being on April 1st is the worst possible day this could have happened. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to and introduce that to the live class. And there's a link in this live, this very live you're looking at the top. You just have to click where it says XRP Future Millionaire. And it says join the live classes 3 times per week or watch the archive. And then it shows the $49.99 a month. 42 students. We've had a 93%. A 93%. We've been able to keep I've been able to keep the students there engaged. And now we're in the 3rd month. So I really love it. And we'll all technically be there tomorrow, won't we? Some of us in spirit. But, you guys are welcome for the input. So, anyhow, trying to get through a lot of stuff. I know not many of you were expecting me to be back, seeing that I did a live this morning, a short before that, a class after the live this morning, and now another live. But I'm very dedicated to this. I agree. Hunt like a wolf. It did feel like that. And but we have to make sure that it's not something more because there's still room over the top. That imbalance zone is not a joke. The imbalance zone is not a joke. The fact that there's liquidity to be grabbed makes me believe that it is more than possible to come up there. Is it going to is the question. I really don't know. And this should actually be like closer to $1.37. So if you look at it from that perspective, I mean, you could almost say that it's already come in here or getting close. It should be like that, probably, if you want to be honest. Because it starts at like $1.37-ish. So, I mean, we're very close to that imbalance zone. And I've said it from the beginning, that $1.37, I mean, $1.36 is a rejection. That's why I kept this a little bit farther away to show the differential. But there is a resistance at $1.36 that could have stopped this. So, Mr. Stott, you're going to love the technical Thursdays. Now, who knows? Is this an April Fool's and I'm not really going to be doing a Thursday class? No, I would never do a stupid April Fool's. But I'm just saying, see what I could have done? I could have, and then I would have been like April Fools, and then tomorrow it would have just said April Fools when you join in. You see, that's what some people's comedic value is about. That's why I hate this day. There's no joke about that. I hate this day. I say it every year. This is my least favorite day in finance. There's so much of the Fugazi that goes on. Smackimation says Tom is by far the best. I was listening to Hopium channels before I realized they were Hopium channels. Price kept lowering, but only good news daily. Yeah, I know. That's the worst part about it. They don't tell you anything. But, I'm not here to bash the smaller channel. I'm just here to say, like, once you recognize that we have something different to offer, we might not get the views that everybody else does, but I'm going to be happy with my 500 views a day in my live if I do a couple live. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm so happy now with the 500 views from the video this morning. You know why? It's 500 of the right views. I could get 5 million views and I couldn't get the kind of quality I get out of all of you. So that's the truth. Like, it's the truth. I don't know how else to say it. It's the truth. And you never know what you have until it's gone. Fortunately, I realize what I have, and we're still in the heart of this, big time in the heart of this. So let's go into the all-time XRP chart. So here's what still matters. Imagine 500 people in one room. That's a lot of people. I know it is. Imagine all of us in one room. It would feel like a lot of people. I remember when I had the 500 and 600 viewer days on the lives. I know some of you remember as well, back in the heart of the bull market in 24 into early 25. Before I essentially signed my resignation letter when I told everybody to sell in early 25, saying we're at the top of a bull market. Oh, that didn't go off well. But it went off to the right people. And then the ones that left came back and said, oh, man, I should have listened. I'm not going to listen to them right now because I'm still hurting. I'm heartached. People are heartbroken right now because of what happens in bear markets. They see all of their... You ever play the lottery? Buy a lotto ticket and you have that fantasy until you lose the lottery? Well, now imagine, and I don't think we all have to imagine, I think we've all been here if we're traders. We have that fostering an illusion that, oh my God, this investment's going to make me a millionaire. Then you get into a bear market and you're like, wait a minute, I'm down, 60% from when I bought in. This is all a scam. This is a scam. This is a scam, damn it. And that's what you start to think. And then you're like, well, there's no way that person could have possibly made any kind of financial gain here. How can you make money in a bear market is what they tell me. Again, right now, the last week has been my most profitable trading week this week. And the amount of time I've been in trades the entire year. And it doesn't seem like that, but everything keeps compounding. When we started this journey a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I was at 21,000 on Kraken. Now, because of how we do this, going for the 5 to 7%, and I showed you a perfect trade in XDC on Sunday into Monday when to sell it. And then I showed you a perfect trade on HBAR on Tuesday into Wednesday and when to sell it. And those are only 5 to 7%ers, but it's allowed my account to go from 24 to 25.2 to now over 27 this week on Kraken. And that's just creating it for the next bear market, or if it gets to a certain level, because now it's $6,000 higher than just like a month and a half ago, by using the same strategy that I've been showing everybody, and it's compounding. So when I first started doing this, and if I had 3,000, the same gainers would be, maybe I would have made $300 instead. But because there's 9 times as much, you're making 9 times as much on these gains, or vice versa, losing. So you have to do this in a certain way. And this isn't gloating at all. This is saying there's a defined strategy to use in a bear market. And if you can perfect it, but you have to understand resistance support. You see this? Does anybody know what this is? We talk a lot about the descending trial. Oh, crap, I just gave it away. Shit. Well, anyhow, do you know what this is? We talk a lot about a descending triangle, so what do you think this is? What do you think the ramifications are, good or bad? Excellent job, guys. Whoever said an ascending triangle, we very well could be building an ascending triangle pattern. You know what that means? If we can tap a third time on support, we very well could go bullish into the imbalance zone. Who said that? Who said that? Congratulations. What did Hunt Wolf say? I gotta read through this. I see people giving me good praise. What did Hunt say? New here, you sound so different than like everyone else on here. Glad to find someone who is real. It's tough to find someone who really cares about XRP and not for possible other reasons. Oh, Hunt, you have found the right place, as if I'm speaking to you directly today. I've been doing this since March 24th of 2021. And the reason I started this channel is I was sick of the hype channels. And I've done this since March 24th of 2021. I had my 5-year anniversary about a week ago. I've never missed a day of doing this. I've done this for 5 straight years. As sure as the seat I sit in and the screen you see me on, I've been doing this every single day, whether that makes me insane or not. I do this every single day for a reason. You know, regardless. And I've had my son hospitalized. I've had injuries. I've had weird stuff happen. But I'm still here every single day regardless. I was doing this in the hospital for about 2 months almost when my son was hospitalized in 24. But I stayed consistent. Might have had to do a lot more shorts and small videos, but we stayed consistent. And we were able to call the bear market in 21 together. The bull market top in 21, even though I got criticized, but we did it. Showed the exact setup for the bear market of 23 and exactly where to buy sub 40 cents. And I was preaching that from the top of the bear market or bull market in 21. I don't want to go into the details, but I actually called that first drop down to 52 cents, but to the penny. It went to 50. I called it to 52 cents from when we sold at $1.66 on the right arm. And then I called the bottom of 23, called the top of 25, and now we're waiting for the bottom of 26. Maybe it'll be I think it'll be in 26. When we get there. And then we also know if it is bottomed, we know what to look for. We know, and it's funny you're here right now, this all-time cup and handle that we've had set up for the cup for a while, but now the handle is a descending wedge. Now we don't know. We had 2 hits of support here. We started the resistance up over the here. Let me use this. So we had 2 hits of support back here on the descending wedge, just after an all-time cup and handle. Went into expansion phase. And this is when we could confirm the top to the bull market. This is when I first called the top and said, well, we might get a little bit higher on the retest, but this is essentially the end of the bull market. And that was in January of 25. We came back up and confirmed it in July. Got a little bit higher price, but not much. So you had a good chance to sell it there. And then we started to form what looked like a descending wedge, which we've got great confirmation. Great confirmation. So we have resistance, support. But what happened here now is after this third hit of resistance, we already had a support tap after here. Came to support, resistance, support. So now we don't know if we created an expansionary descending wedge or if this is just kind of a holding place. If this is the expansion area, it means that we're closer to breaking out likely than going all the way to the end of the wedge. We would have essentially locked it down by a few weeks, or it could be into a different phase entirely, but we'll see. We would have to get over $1.62 to start thinking that maybe we reverse this cycle. We're more looking for that 95 or 85 because it's cheaper and I think it would be a better entry point. But nobody says we can't swing this stuff along the way. And I have a XXX HAVI strategy. XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Algo, and VChain because of how cheap it's getting. But that's the strategy. I think those are the tokens to send us to the promised land. IOTA's part of it, but it's not on my tier 1 exchange, so I don't talk about it, but I love it. It's getting so dirt cheap. But yeah, I can promise you one thing. I know what I'm talking about, and I don't have any sponsors. You don't have to listen to that mumbo jumbo for 59 minutes out of a 60-minute video. I never tell you what to buy, where to buy it, how to buy it. I just tell you what I do. So everybody says, how do you leverage trade? There's a link for BitUnix in the video description below and our pinned comments. I don't like the leverage trade, but if I do, that's where I do it. I tell about my classes because I need to promote my classes because that's what I do. But I won't ever promote a pair of soap, a pair of boxers, a boxing glove, anything. A VPN or some stupid wallet to use. I think that's all a scam. I'm just going to tell you about the daily chart, the news that we need to know, and what I think has happened with XRP, which what I think, since it's your first time in here, I think XRP, everybody wants to make it sound like it's going to be the new dollar. It's not. Everybody wants to make it sound like it's going to 1,000. It's not. We're looking for that move, first of all, in this next bull market to $6.51. I made a promise to everybody in 23, 3,500 to 35,000 was my guarantee. I shouldn't make guarantees because I'm not a financial advisor, but sometimes I do when I'm very certain. Just like I guaranteed the top of that bull market and we could buy it sub 40 in 23. I knew it. I put my reputation on it, and now I have 50,000 subscribers, which are dwindling the amount of subscribers I get. But the viewers that I get are real as can be. Huh? Oh, I got him to sleep? Oh, don't. But we have a real community. A real community. And I don't do this on false hope. I do this. I practice this. I practice what I preach, and I preach what I practice and what I know. That's it. I don't claim to be something I'm not, and I don't recite what somebody else says. So, you know, that's the promise I give you. I'm not giving you false expectations. I'm giving you real hope for a future. Think about it. We have real hope because we're not finessing it. We're not fudsters. We're not hopium. We're not a hype. You guys aren't hype viewers. I'm not a hype channel. You may have come in here, some of you, as hype viewers, but you left staying saying I can be a whale. We don't want to be the 95%. We want to be the 5%, period. So let me thank some of these super chats. Like, I did not know I was going to get anything tonight. Like, incredibly generous audience. I dare say the most generous audience on all of YouTube. Like, no doubt. Like, most channels rely on ad revenue. Do you know ad revenue makes up all of 22% of my revenue? Because I never usually have it on until YouTube forced me to have it on. As you guys know, I don't like ads on because I think it interrupts things. But hey, that's the way they want to do it in 26. I can't fight their system, but I can sure as hell make it to where they're skippable. And stupid things like where it shows up in the chat instead of going around your stupid screen, which I hate and is annoying. Anyhow, Noob Sauce 22, thanks for the gifted sub and also being in Tom's over 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Definitely the 5%. We're not going to be. We are the 5%. Maybe not by income, but by what we can understand on these charts and how we trade the market. If you're watching me and you aspire to be in the 5%, like I aspire and am in the 5% when I trade, and I'm not talking about by how much I make, I'm talking about understanding the cycles, because we're in a risk asset. You don't want to be in the market from bear to bull, to bull to bear, to bear to bull, to bull. It's a risk asset. You buy in the bear market to sell in the bull market, and you rinse and repeat, and you have extra assets along the way. Some of us from 21 took that money when it was at the bear market lows of gold and silver bullion, and I did a silver stacking series. For anybody who's new, I encourage you to go onto my homepage, go to the playlist, and those are the classes if you ever want to take a look. But we did a series back in 2000. Where the hell is this at? Silver stacking series back in 22. Go watch that. Anybody, if you want to know what we do here, outside of this, we put our money from the bull market in 21 into precious metals when gold was at about 1,700 to 1,900 and silver was under 20 bucks. There were some times when it was at 24, sometimes it was at 17, 16. And we know how to invest our money and put it away for the future. Not all of it, just some of it. But you want to have a store of value and become your own bank. So we're trying to take these profits from risk and put it into precious metals, some of it, and do all this other stuff. So what do you think about LASE falling? I think it's going to continue to fall. I don't think it's come down. We can talk about that after. But we got to focus on this right now. So, I mean, bright future freedom. The best way I can put this is I've been showing you guys my journey with Kraken. You know, I don't pull it up on the screen, but I tell you about all the trades, and literally it's been like watching it compound in real time. Like you can see on here. It's funny that it says 2,666. I can't help the way it fell, but in the last week, and it's just from the two trades, it's literally up $2,666. You know, and that's accounting for all fees on here and everything else. And it's like, that's a week. I don't even feel like I did anything. I made a 5% or 7% or 6% average trade on two trades, but it compounds every single time. So it's, there's a certain way to do this. And trust me, I'm not gloating. I'm just saying that it compounds. It compounds. And like, I've taken money off along the way, as you guys know, out of bear markets or bull markets. I fixed up my entire inside of my house for the most part. Still have some work to do, but that cost me like $85,000 last year. It sucked. Now my roof caved in, so there's another 20 if the insurance doesn't cover all of it. But the point is we're able to make our wealth through this trading game and then supplement it through our other incomes. Like YouTube's helps me supplement my income with all of your support. But I don't take it for granted, and I put in a lot of work. A lot of work. You know, and you guys help me supplement what I do, and it makes it worth being here outside of just me trading. Anybody can just trade. I want to lead an army, like a real army, not to go slaughter people, but to advance what we have. You know, I want to be the foremost trusted person in the history of, finance. That's what or at least in crypto. Let's call it crypto. I want to be the most trusted source in crypto, particularly with XRP and the tokens that are going to survive. But I aspire to be that, and I am that. I proved it for over 5 years, and it's never going to change. The only thing that's going to change is the time put in, and that's going to make it even more sweet. And again, thank you, Noob Sauce, for the 1 gifted sub. And also in Towns only 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Raider Rob Knievel gets the gifted sub. How awesome is that? Thank you so much for that gifted sub. And congratulations on being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. And that is my face superimposed on that emoji badge. Raider, welcome in. Jay for Mix, welcome in. And thanks for also the $5 super chat. How awesome is this community? Thank you so much for that. I don't know if I missed any other gifted subs or anything because this is all it's showing me. But it does look like there were comments higher above. So if I missed something, you guys can let me know. It's not showing me any farther back. I love this new YouTube stuff. But yeah, just let me know if I missed something because I feel like I might have missed one. But anyhow, what we were talking about in the shorter pattern for XRP, let's go back to it. I didn't forget about it. And I do have a lot of charts, so if you're watching, please pay attention. There's lots of charts for a reason. For a good reason. Garrus just got the notification. Better late than never, my brother. And thanks for being in Towns Only 3+, or your second month with the Dusty's Out House Crypto News. Where was that chart that I was working on? Working. Where is my chart? I think it might have been this one. Inside of the macro, it might have been the micro. That would have been too easy, in fact. That's okay, I can do it again. I thought I drew this chart out. I really did. Aha! It is in the macro. So basically, that almost looks like an ascending wedge. Okay, and if that's an ascending wedge, I have good news for the short term and bad news for some that are shorting in the midterm. But let's see, an ascending wedge... I mean, an ascending triangle. I'm sorry. I don't think it's an ascending wedge. I think it could be an ascending triangle. Not necessarily a wedge. I don't know why I said wedge. But an ascending triangle pattern looks like that. Lower highs, higher lows. Or flat resistance, high. So we basically have lower highs. It's slightly lower. It can be pretty even too. But in our case, I'm pretty sure it looks like an ascending triangle. We have a high, a lower high. We busted up a little bit higher than that, but technically it's still lower. It was just fluke wicks that went above. But the pattern it looks like an ascending triangle. We went in, boom, 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 boom. We came down into it, so, I mean, that could be a problem. But this is either a continuation into imbalance, but we probably won't know until it comes down here and taps. It could tap $1.31. Is that what that says? Well, we haven't had a third tap on support yet, technically. Even if you come back here, I highly doubt... hold on. I take that back. Never mind. Never mind. Should never not include that wick, if you can. Interesting. That would have just been an overshot then. Interesting. So it's possible we're in like this ascending triangle. And that this is how we could break in out to that imbalance zone. Interesting. Tom, to be honest, you're the only channel I'm a member of. Oh, that actually means a lot to me, to be honest. I can't imagine many of you subscribe or pay to another channel. I mean, I can't. I know how it is. It's not worth paying a paid membership on most. I get that. Yeah, you want to see 3 hits on each side to confirm the pattern, which we have on this one. Mrs. Stott says, Tom, that's because you are totally awesome. I love the play on his name, and I'm totally awesome as well. I agree with that. Thank you, Mrs. Stott, and thanks for being in town on 3+ months with the XP Meteor. And like I said, we're not going to hit a note for everybody, but we're going to hit the right note for the ones who really want to know. The hype viewers are going to leave. You know what? I realize that. The hype viewers will leave right away because they're looking for hype. They're a hype view. So I say you guys are 10 times your weight in viewership. And I appreciate it, everybody who pays it forward to me and believes in what I do. And honestly, another reason what I think has happened too is I think a lot of you joined Tom's Army because you see my worth now. Not the fact I've been here for 5 years straight without a day off. The fact that I've never given hype. I've given on-point technical perspectives of the market structure. And I've not only called the bear market 2 separate times in crypto, but I've called 3 separate bull market tops, or 2 market tops and 2 bear market lows in unison. So bear market top in 21, bear market low in 23, bull market top in 25. And now we're trying to do it again with the bear market. And we won't know until we break structure one way or the other on that all-time cup and handle on the descending wedge. But, I've had a great realization today of just how important we are, not just to this community, but to ones who will find us in the future. We're so important. This community is, I almost feel like it's a flat resistance, though. But it's still slightly downtrending, so it still makes that point. It looks like a ascending triangle is what this looks like. It looks like that. And definitely totally awesome. I thought, where I got the name? It's from a card game. The card is freaking broken as fuck. Basically, I get to tell you now on any action you do, then I take your card and then I get the card back in an infinite loop. Hey, interesting. We're in the Matrix somehow, huh? We're coming down into the triangle instead of up. Does that matter? Yes. I mean, technically, I can't say yes a billion times, but the fact we came downward into the ascending triangle definitely gives it a different perspective. However, we didn't create a descending triangle, though. We created it's still an ascending triangle. And honestly, no, I wouldn't say it creates too big of a differential, but generally an ascending triangle pattern coming to the downward, it looks like this, and it would be a reversal pattern. If it's going up, it's a continuation of the trend. So yes, there's a little difference because the one's a bullish continuation and the one's a bullish reversal. If that makes a difference to you. But yeah, in a downtrend, it's considered a bullish reversal. You know what I mean? So technically, no. It's not going to hurt the cause here if that's in fact what it is, and I think that is what it is. This should be able to have a little reversal effect. And it's funny? By getting these technical verifications, what's the target that you would look to enter a trade on? Not where it's at right now. God, no. And I think you understand now why. But from the longer perspective, we still have longer patterns. But you're looking to buy in on that support tap to ride it to imbalance if you're going to make a trade. Do you see the importance, even the ones from my class earlier, do you see the importance of this imbalance being on here from what you learned in class earlier today, ironically, when we talked about liquidity sweeps and the in-depth we did and added the market makers, the institutions, retail, and also central banks and their role in liquidity sweeps and why they do it, where they do it, how they do it, the reasons behind why they do it. So, what it looks like to me is everything's bearish in the immediate short term for XRP. But if we can come down and hold this, if it comes down to support again, because it just might, resistance, buy support, sell resistance, buy support, sell resistance, buy support, sell resistance till the pattern breaks out or breaks down. So now the next time, and this should be a continuation out if it does hold this. Now there's no guarantee it will. So we're looking at somewhere around $1.32.7. Then it'll have about 3% to push out. But once it breaks out, and in these, I don't necessarily like to go all the way to the back. And I'll explain why in a minute. I don't like to do it from here to here. I'd prefer to have the more compact when it measures in. But technically, you're supposed to do it here. I always start with these ones because these are the more universal pushes. So then I go, okay. Well, if it breaks out of that, where does that put us? Oh, convenient. What is that? $1.43.7. So let's go back to that imbalance chart and see where it would put us. So at $1.43.7, it puts us firmly into the top of this imbalance zone, where the liquidity sweep could be a bearish confirmation. But it's telling us by having this imbalance on here, we should tap it. And now we have a pattern that if it holds is giving us a reason why we would tap it. Isn't that beautiful how technicals work? Oh, it's beautiful. And you need to know it. You need to understand it. You need to feel it. Do you feel the power that you can have trading and not be the market maker's bitch, for lack of a better word? See, we're still inside of this wider setup, but within a smaller pattern. And this could even bring us up. Do you see? This is what we need to do. We don't need to fear this. Like, I want to jump through the screen and say, damn it! We're in control. We're probably the only community. I'm being dead serious and I'm not tooting. We're probably the only community that's ever done things like this. To be honest with you, is there any other community you've ever seen that does things like this? I'm yet to see it. Even when people tell me they're similar, they don't do it like this. It's not like this. And I promise you, if you do this day after day, it starts to, once the puzzle is put together in your head, you can't unsee it. It's just like in real life. If you seek the truth and you don't believe the narrative and you don't follow politics and you just actually look for things for what they are, you can never go back. It's a lonely world. It's a lonely world, but I'd rather be in the lonely world than the untruthful parts of it. You know, you can't make these sweeps up. That's right. The best call timing channel. Yes, and that's the fine line. We have to make sure we do it right. Ducks are not in a row yet, but have made it to the same states. Those are the same state. There you go. It's good enough. So, you know, I'm passionate about this. You got to bring passion to this game. Everybody always sees dollar signs with their audience. You can't see it that way. Otherwise, then you become a hype channel. Nobody needs to be hyped. Guess what? If I do a good enough job and you make enough money, you'll join Tom's Army. I can guarantee you one thing. If you make somebody some bread, they're going to be the first ones to give it back via supporting your channel to keep you there. I 100%, and it's not going to be everybody, but if you're the right kind of person like I am, I would be paying somebody a monthly membership if I was making a lot of bread off of their content. Unfortunately, I can't do that for anybody except I support Crypto Mentor 99 still, his monthly membership, because he taught me a lot. And I'll continue to pay it forward to him as long as he's on YouTube. I don't care how often I watch it, what kind of content he puts out. It's for past info that I will always pay it forward to him. That's it. I think he's the only... Oh, Cannabis Podcast as well. I'm on Cannabis Podcast. I'm a paid subscriber to his channel as well via his Patreon. But he's giving me useless. He's giving me... He's not a hype stat. I'm saying he's giving me useful knowledge. I don't know why I said useless. Stupid hype channels in my head. But he's giving me useful knowledge when it comes to cannabis, when it comes to herbal healing, the different uses, applications, and also the different legalities that are happening, and then the advancements within the laws being written, so that even though I can't stay on top of the cannabis sector, I don't need to. I trust him and his partner that are doing it. They do a great job. So those are the two channels I'm paid members for. That's it. Cannabis Podcast and Crypto Mentor 99. Those are the only two that have ever made me go, oh my God, I need to support these channels in a very deep way. Not saying I don't like others. They're just not good enough. They don't do what I need. And maybe it's not their fault. Maybe they're just looking for the hype view so they can get a little bit of cheap ad revenue. I don't want that same cheap damn ad revenue. I want to earn it. I tell everybody, don't donate to me until I've done something for you. I would imagine 99% of my donations that have come in have been from people that have made overwhelming gains that they just can't believe. And they're like, I feel dirty not giving them something. I've been told that many times. I feel a little dirty not being a member of your army with what you've done and what I've learned. And I go, I appreciate that. That means I've earned your trust and your loyalty and your long-term viewership. So that's why I said a few weeks ago, even I need to bring the positivity. I don't care what kind of market we're in. I can be the positive light in a bear market. When it used to be bear markets, I used to be the Debbie Downer. I'd give you good information, but you'd have to hear me rant for, too long. Now it's different. This bear market, I changed for the better because nobody can learn. I mean, you can, but nobody wants to see that. I've learned, nobody wants to see that. We all deal with enough negative. So we need to be positive in these bear markets. I'm telling you, we're the 5%. We should put that on a damn shirt. We're the 5% of crypto. That's why only 5% of you stay. But it's the right 5%. If 95% stayed and I had the biggest channel in the world, then I'd be getting all the hype views. They don't want it. And that's the other badge of honor I have, Sola Jeffy. Do you know how many people tell me they've unsubscribed from every other YouTuber in this topic? Let's keep it to crypto. But most people unsubscribe to all YouTube channels. Because once you realize what's going on, unfortunately, I ruined the cave fob for everybody. You know what the cave fob is? The cave, you know what I'm talking about? That's a false illusion that's fostered amongst all influencers to make it all seem real. It's a fugazi, the fugazi. Once you see this channel and you have to understand what I do and know I'm not here to take advantage, you realize what everybody else is doing, and once you can't unsee it. I tell you that. That's why I started this channel. Once I realized it, my brain clicked and I said, wait a minute. They're all extra VODs and bearable bullshitters and run guys, and they're all the same damn people disguised as different people pushing the same BS to get the same sponsors and the same motivator. It's all bullshit. You don't want to see that, and once you see it, you cannot unsee. I couldn't unsee it. Cannabis Podcast said it's like seeing your ex when you see a video from a channel you unsubscribe from pop-up. True that. So we can be the 5%, but we got to be the 5%. You got to have the 5% mindset. And it has to carry outside of crypto. Like, what do I do outside of crypto to keep the dedication? I've been fasting 16 hours a day for going on 4 years. I've been rate training going on 4 years this Halloween, 2 weeks before Halloween. I've changed my entire look. I wasn't this fit when I started, and it's just, I changed everything about me. I've even changed my delivery. I've changed how stressed out and how mad and anxious. I've tried to be positive. Look at the gun show today. I mean, I can't even believe that's my arm. And it's taken a long time because I won't use steroids and stuff like that. But damn, I look at it, I'm like, that can't be me. For anybody who's new, you want to see what I looked at back in the day, this was me. XRP future. I was a slightly different looking man. But, no hard feelings to myself. It's just we all go on a journey. And, it hasn't been the easiest life journey, but it's been the right journey for me. Broke my back when I was 23, and I can only see out of one eye, believe it or not. This eye is basically useless. My left eye, it's there for good looks, but it don't do anything. I can't see out of it. Yes, I had a trim beard back then as well. I didn't have my hair this long. I haven't cut my hair in, talking about streaks, July of 2023 is the last time I cut my hair, FYI. This July will be 3 years since I cut my hair. I'm not even kidding. I hustle harder than you. I remember proud of you, brother. You've come along. I appreciate that. I bet you nobody thought I could change my my demeanor the way I have. But I did have a trim beard. That's true. It's pretty long right now, actually. Might have to trim it soon. I have Julie trim it every now and then. I won't trim my hair, though. What would Trump say? You've never won harder than you've won in here. I can promise you that. You'll never win like you're going to win with me. You're going to be so tired of winning, you're going to want to give some of it back. That's what Trump would say. Make it neat at $2. Ah, that's so funny. But I'm not a political guy, you know. I understand the false, fake politics. Believe me, better than anybody. That was my first realization that everything was all nonsense when I was a kid. And then when you can start seeing it all add up, you're like, oh no. By the way, everybody posting about the Artemis stuff. Like, come on, it's April Fools, folks. There's so much stuff you can't. I don't read anything on April Fools. I don't even look at social media. I won't do it. I refuse to do it. I won't look at anything. They're all a bunch of Fugazi seekers. There you go, Sola Jeffy. There's my email. strutrugali@gmail.com. That's I shared it with Julie's account. That's STRUTRUGALI@gmail.com. If you scan through really quick or really fast, you can see Tom turn into a conspiracy theorist. I love it. But yeah, I think that's everything for today. My voice is super tired. I know I've said 3 times that I'm leaving, and that's not good for me because everybody just leaves. But I will look forward to the 500 people that end up seeing this live, probably with all the content put out today. And I'm going to be proud of those 500 views. I'm not even joking. Proud. I'm going to be proud of every view I get because I know they're the right views. I continue to say that when we get to the bull market and we have 600 people in here by the end of a live instead of 60, I'm going to say, man, I wish all of you remember what I said in the last bull market? When there was 400 and 500 people in the live, I said, where the hell were you guys in the bear market? I wish you were here when it mattered. I appreciate you being here, but you've already missed it. That's what we want. But before I leave, ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? And we've been proudly doing this since 2021 when I had all of, 250 subscribers in the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, the sunny days are here again. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. I wear glasses 'cause I can't see a motherfucking thing. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. XRP will reign supreme. Let's just not get caught in the FUD. Oh, we're gonna crash and we did and we will and we can and we won't and we will and we can and we won't and we will and we can and it can never happen, but it did. Wait a minute, I thought we couldn't go under $2. Surely we can't go under 1. Let's go. Here we go. Not now, not anyway, anywhere. Okay. Stay true. Stay blessed. Bitcoin's the biggest Ponzi of them all. God, I love this song. It always evolves too. Today it just flowed just right. Is he smoking a stogie? I didn't even realize that. His hands are up too. He must have burned his hands. Or is he Pinocchio? I can't quite tell. Either way, the son's having a good day. He's having a good day. You know, wait until I figure out how to do the animated son and I come back and we're singing and the son starts singing his own song. Be like, oh my God, the son's singing. So he sure is. I taught him well. But be blessed, everybody. And just remember, in this pattern and the immediate short term, if we have to consolidate, in the immediate short term, if we want to validate this, what could be an ascending triangle here, actually. $1 in real time, $1 for Thursday would be 32.6 cents. So if you're looking to try to do something here and trying to play a breakout up to that $1.43 imbalance zone, the best opportunity here would be about $1.32.6 if it comes down there, or on a breakout back test at 136.26. I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I pretend to be one, nor do I want to be one. And as it turns out, it's way too expensive to become one. Oh yeah, they want to do 3 separate classes, certifications that'll cost you anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000. They can stroke on these grotesques for all I know. So I ain't pushing out 7 to 12 grand for a fancy cheap ass title. No, sirree, Bob. So I am not a financial advisor, and I am damn sure proud of it. Be blessed, everybody, and I love all of you in the community as well. Thank you so much. Seriously, 1970 legend, my fellow Buckeye down south, even though I'm a Wolverine. Appreciate you being a very trusted mod and a huge supporter of the program. Noob Sauce, HBAR, J from X. Mr. Stop, Mr. Stop, Bright Future Freedom, Noob Sauce. Knick Knack Paddywhack, Give a Dog a Bone is even here. J Bars, I meant. Greatest song in the world. I appreciate that. You know a thing or two about bars, wouldn't you, Mr. Bars? Because it doesn't say J behind bars, it just says J Bars, which leads me to believe that you can sing a bar, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you own a bar. But thank you all so much. Seriously, thank you all so much. Have a good night and be blessed. And I encourage you to join the classes. Please join the classes. Yes, sir, says J Bar. See that? God, I love this community so much. Thank you all so much for making this so very not only important.